Hi everyone, I am back for our first installment of Dating Story Time. Before I start, I want to say that every story that I tell is 100% true. I wish I was making any of this up. I have screenshots and pictures for almost everything that I could show to support that these unfortunate events actually occurred. I'm going to start at the beginning. I'm going to go through quickly, but just so you can come with me down my yellow brick road, take your hand. Where I was going, where I saw every single flag, and instead of turning around, I changed my favorite color to red. Redo it, I know, so I'm taking accountability for that. Okay, so there was this guy that I dated for about 2 months. We decided to be exclusive after about 3 weeks of chatting. We met on Facebook dating, and I thought out of all the apps or those sites that this one would be relatively, decent. He was very sweet. He was just a year and a half younger than me. He seemed very attentive. He was consistent. We started texting and chatting like every day from the beginning, and I'm like, oh, this is nice. It's different because on apps, it's like it's hit or miss. You're texting 3 days apart and you're just saying the same things over and over again. So it was really nice from the beginning. He lived about 2.5 hours from me. I'm in South Jersey. He was in Pennsylvania. We're to call him Bob. Okay, for the sake of story. But after like 2 or 3 weeks, we decided we were just going to be seeing each other. Okay, we're exclusive. We started chatting, on the app, and then phone, talking every day, and then we switched to video. We were on IG doing video calls. It was great. He seemed so sweet. He was well-spoken. He had a good job. He had, a car, home. My bar is very low these days. But he was very sweet, very sweet. We had a lot of things in common, even down to like our favorite candy, which is a really random candy that you can even find everywhere, but it was both of our favorites. But he was sweet. He seemed to be like a good dad. He had a 7-year-old son who was autistic, so I would hear stories, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy is amazing. He's so sweet. He's sensitive. I'm like, oh, I've never encountered a guy like this. Okay. So we started talking about, okay, we need to meet. What's your schedule look like? And I was like, I'm good. My kids are older, so evenings I'm good, weekends I'm good. Just let me know. Any day this whole calendar year except for this date. I already have plans with one of my besties. We already had tickets to go to this cute little jazz club. We had our cute little dresses. Okay, we were ready to go. But what day does he pick? That night. He was going to get a hotel room from Friday to Sunday, since we were both going to be far from home. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. But just know, on Saturday, I'm going to leave you to go with my girl because we have plans, and I'm telling you this, and I made sure you understood this. And he was cool with it. And I'm like, oh, that's sweet. Different, but sweet. Okay, so we met. He was a gentleman from the beginning, and I was just something I wasn't used to. He's pulling out chairs and opening doors. I'm like, oh, okay, I got one. But dinner, we went to dinner the first night. Food was great. Conversation was great. And then he does I have something to admit. And I'm like, oh, what is that? Somebody says that automatically, the antennas go up, right? I can't be the only one. Okay, so he goes, I've already been looking at places to live near you. You mean in like Jersey? He's like, no, in your town. I was like, oh, that's sweet. Meanwhile, in my head, I'm like, girl, you should be running. But no, because flags. So I hoped to just like deter him. Like maybe we could just forget this conversation happened. Not at dinner, but later we'll address it. But dinner was great. Next night, I went and met my girl. We had fun. I drove back to him. Weekend was great. I was like, oh, this has potential. Okay. Then it was a conversation. How often are we going to see each other? He's like, oh, well, I need to see you every weekend. And I'm like, well, we could try to do that. But I am a mom. My kids are older, but they're all still at home. I take care of my mother, and I have a small business. So every weekend sounds great in theory, but that might not happen. Like, it might not be realistic, especially in the beginning where, whatever. So he has a 7-year-old son who is autistic, and he has partial custody where he has his son 3 weekends out of the month. And I'm like, do what you have to do. I love kids. I know what it's like to, share custody and have to go back and forth. Do what you have to do for the baby. I'll be here whenever you're ready. So he's like, okay, well, next weekend, we're going to meet. We'll meet in the middle. I'm like, okay. Well, here I am doing the calculations. Like, this is the weekend he has his son. So, yeah, our second date for a weekend was with his son. I don't know if I'm different, but I kind of wait on those things. When my kids were little, I didn't introduce them to anyone unless I know that they were sticking around. Well, even that, in 12 years, only met one person. But, so our second date was with his son. And not did I just meet his son, it's a whole weekend in a hotel room with his son. But, I just went with it. Because, again, I don't know how to set boundaries. But his son was so sweet. We clicked immediately. My son's 16, so it was like having my son little again. So we're running around and playing with his little toys, and I was like, oh, this is great. Spent a lot of time at the hotel pool. His son loved to swim. I went with it. I'm like, okay, we'll work with it. So we did see each other every weekend for 2 months, except for one. But there was one weekend, I'm like, I can't come on Friday. I have a small business. I had orders to work on, and I wanted to spend a little bit of time with my son on the weekend. And he was like, okay, I understand. So I worked on my orders Friday, and Saturday, I took him to the movies. And because I don't know how to set boundaries, I took him to a 10:30 a.m. movie. I didn't even know movies played that early, okay? So to spend that time with my son, but it's only by the grace of God that he's 16 and he somewhat still enjoys my company, so I'm going to capitalize on that. And we're going to spend time together. So I told Bob that I'd leave by like 1 o'clock. I'd get on the road. I'd already have my bags packed. The movie ran a little bit longer than I thought. Came home, threw everything in the car. And I left a little bit later than I said I was going to. It was about 30, 40 minutes late. Should I have let him know that I was leaving late? Absolutely. Absolutely. That would have been a nice thing for me to just let him know, hey, heads up, I'm about 40 minutes late. I didn't. I texted him, he didn't answer. Come to find out later, he was asleep, but again, that was my fault. So here I am driving through Center City, Philly in torrential rain, and he's arguing with me, like full-fledged argument, like yelling, like I'm a kid. And that's one thing I don't do all that. So I hung up on him a couple times. He didn't like that. That actually made it worse. But I couldn't deal with the yelling. Like, we don't do that where I am. So we got through it. And I was like, listen, I can turn around or I can come. But if I come, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to keep rehashing this. Okay? I apologized several times. I apologized. We're not going to keep going over how inconsiderate I was and how I was wasting him and his son's time. So I got there. We still had a good weekend. Enjoyed it. Pool, dinner, sun. So this was, our weekends for 2 months. Then, for me, it was like a little bit too much. A little bit. I'm anxious. I'm an anxious person. But his attachment style was like super anxious. And even for me, it was a lot. Like, I like to be with someone, I like somebody, I like to be up under them, but this was like next level. I tried to explain to him it's a lot for me. I tried to sugarcoat it, make it sweet. Like, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm not healed enough. Even though I know I've worked on it for years, I'm healed. But I was trying to make it nice. But it didn't work. He went off. Next video. sorry, I'm holding my phone this time. I'll try not to shake it around too much with all my hand movements. Last time I was using my daughter's tripod, but I just don't feel like it today. I'm sorry. Some things I left out because I definitely jumped to the good part. Because there's a lot more, that had to do with it. It wasn't just I left because he was anxious. I'm anxious. I'm super anxious. It gets stuck all in here or up in here. You might not know, but it's there. It's there. But he smoked a lot, like a lot, and I mean, not okay. Which is fine. I have nothing against that. Okay. I don't do it. I can't because of my job, but he did it like constantly, like all the time. And if he didn't, it was a problem. Like he got argumentative. He was cranky. He'd pick at everything and everybody, and it was everybody's problem. He had a medical card, so he was, in that state. You needed a card. The recreational wasn't, approved yet, but it was an issue, and I just couldn't. Like everything, I had to walk on eggshells constantly. If he didn't smoke, it was like he would find something to argue about, like something random, like the shade of the blue of the sky. It was literally things that small. He would pick arguments. There was a time that we argued about, we didn't argue. I don't like to argue. It makes me sick. It really does. It gives me a headache, nauseates me. I would rather let you win an argument than us sit there and go back and forth. I don't do it. His thought was, women, he said women, not parents, women who ask for child support for their kids shouldn't have custody because that means they can't afford to have kids. He said that knowing that I am a single mom that still gets child support for one child. So I tried to let it go, but then he kept going. I'm like, I get child support, right? He's like, yeah, I know. But, I'm not talking about you. But women, they do this and they do that and they use it as this and they use it as that and they're buying shoes for themselves and they're buying this. I'm like, I'm sorry that you feel like you have that experience with child support, but it's not always that. It doesn't always work like that. I get my child support and I move on. I don't talk to my son's father. He's old enough. They have their own relationship or lack thereof.
Hey, y'all need to stop messing with broke women. If you always worried about what she's spending your child support on, stop messing with broke women. I'm telling you, bro, stop messing with broke women. If all you worried about is what she's spending your child support on, stop messing with broke women. It's that easy. It's that easy.
Let's go with it. I just keep it moving. But it was like an argument. And I'm like, okay, at this point, I'm like, I'm just going to let you talk. We just talk. I'll let you get it all out, whatever's on your mind today, because, he didn't smoke. And then I said something like, okay, that's okay, we're going to let it go. And he's like, oh, well, you're getting quiet. What's wrong? I was like, because you're still going. And I told you how I felt about it. He's like, oh, somebody's getting offended. Yeah, I'm offended. Okay, if that works to end this argument, then sure, I'm offended. Then let's go. He would argue about, there's one time we were together, he fell asleep early. Okay, you're tired. Go to sleep. I'm fine with it. I'm not going to sit there and wake you up. He fell asleep. The next morning he woke up. He's like, why'd you let me sleep? Because you were tired, bro. I let you sleep. Like, that's not a bad thing. But then he got mad at me saying that I slept in late on Mother's Day. I woke up at 7 a.m. But that was a problem. So I said, well, why didn't you wake me up? Because that's like the same thing. He couldn't answer that question. It was still like everything was my fault. Everything was my fault. But then again, he didn't smoke since before he went to sleep. His stuff was still laying on the dresser, but he fell asleep, so he didn't get to smoke it. And then now it's stale, so that's my fault because I didn't wake him up, and then I didn't wake up in time. And it was just like every time it was like a snowball. It was like a snowball every time. So at one point I was just like, you know what? I can't. This is the sugary part. I can't do this. some of the things that you say, like when I voice my opinion or I voice my feelings, how you reacted triggers me. And I just can't do it. Maybe I'm not, like I said, maybe I'm not healed enough. Maybe there's things I need to work on. Because I said, I don't like to argue. I'll take responsibility. It's all my fault. Yep. I can't do it. So we stopped talking for a little bit. And he texted me. He's like, I started going to therapy, something that I suggested that he does because he needed to. Like, oh, that's great. He's like, and I stopped smoking. Whew, thank God. Oh, that's great. That's a good thing. I'm glad you stopped smoking. He's like, yeah, I'm clear-headed. I've never seen things so much, so clearly. I'm like, that is amazing. I'm so happy for you. So we kept talking, and I went back because red's my favorite color. Remember flags. So I went back, but it was short-lived. It was an issue. We had started arguing over the phone. Let me fix that. We were talking on the phone, and he started arguing with me. And he's, when his voice gets elevated, and I'm just like, I'm not going to argue, but he wants to keep arguing. I get there to where he and his son are, of course. And his son goes, why are you mad at my dad? I'm like, I get down, at his level. I'm like, honey, I'm not mad at your dad. He's like, you guys were arguing. I heard you. And I was like, I'm sorry you heard us, but I'm not mad at your dad. Everything's fine. I'm here, right? We're going to have fun this weekend. We're going to go to the pool. We're going to have fun. He's like, yeah. I said, so we're okay. And give him a hug and stand up. And then I'm locking eyes with homeboy over here because I'm like, did you let him hear the whole conversation? And then I go over to him and he's like, yeah, we got to watch what we say around him. Like, what we say? Who's we? It was you. You here. I was in my car. Like, why are you letting him hear our argument? He's 7. So that was it. I was like, you know what? I can't. We've had like 6 arguments in 2 months. That's just too much for me. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. When it's things I can't control, it's not things I'm doing. It's anything in the world because you just feel like arguing and picking. So I'm like, you know what? I can't do this. Again, it was, oh, well, I don't know. I talked to my therapist and I told him that you were having a hard time with these things and you were triggered so easily. Okay, fine. Yep. All my fault. Again. Yep. Let's go. So it's over, right? So I don't hear from him for a while. He would text me every once in a while. And then he texted and said he quit his job. I'm like, oh, that's great. Because he complained since the beginning of how bad they treated him there. And it sounded like they did from the stories that he told me. He had constantly wrote to HR and, there was always drama. He had voiced that he thought about starting a business, logistics, doing like deliveries. I'm like, oh, that's great. You should do it because I'm going to encourage you. I don't care what's going on. You have an aspiration. I'm behind you 100%. Okay. So he called me, or he texted me and sent me pictures. He bought a box truck. Boom. Here's the name of my LLC. Boom. I'm like, that's amazing. I'm happy for you. I'm so proud of you. You made a change. You made a leap. You have faith in yourself. You're going to do great at this. Okay. And then he started with the, do you miss me? Do you love me? I'm like, I knew it was coming, but I'm not going to answer. We're going to leave you on red. Okay. He still sent me messages on Instagram. He still texts me, and I'm like, I'm not going to engage because I could see just from the titles in Instagram, it was from lovey-dovey memes or some videos. I'm like, we're not doing that. We are broken up. I can be happy for you, despite what we're going through or what is over, but I still want the best for you. Live long and prosper. That's all I was thinking. Okay, so we're not gonna go back and forth. Then one day I'm at work, in my office, sitting with the coworker and a customer, and I get a text message from him. I look over and I see like, oh, I hope your family is fine or something like that. I'm like, oh, here we go. Well, he's looking for attention. Okay, so my coworker and the customer leave, and I pick up my phone, and I see it says, "Hi, Denise. This is Betsy." For the sake of the story, Bob's sister. He wanted me to reach out to you, and I'm like, "Oh, what's wrong?" She's like, "I just want to let you know that he's no longer with us. He's watching over us." Excuse me? What? Instant tears. Down. My coworker calls. What's wrong? Nothing. She's like, what's wrong? I said, he's dead. She said, who? Bob. He's dead. What? Exactly. I was inconsolable. I was hyperventilating, crying. Next video. Hello, back for part 2. Sorry, I'm holding my phone this time. I'll try not to shake it around.
God damn, Bob. What the? Bob just took his life. Damn, Bob. Bob was fucked up. Bob didn't have it all. Bob was tripping. Bob was in his own feelings. And Bob wasn't about to, he wasn't about to, you know what? It's a good thing she stayed away from Bob, because Bob would have took her ass with him. Because that's where it was going.
Hi again. Time for part 3. One thing that I did leave out of the last video, only because my girlfriends saw it yesterday and said, hey girl, you forgot something. And it's bad when the people that went with you on this little journey remind you. So when I had stopped speaking to him, and kind of just cut things off, and he wasn't used to it, he decided to reach out to my daughter, my 21-year-old daughter that he had not yet met. Found her Instagram and DM'd her. Then when she didn't answer, because she's like, what the hell, he DM'd one of my besties. You know, the best friend that I went to the jazz club with the dresses. He DM'd her. He had met her and some of her family at a function that I was invited to at one point. But he DM'd her, and she didn't answer either. Okay, so that was that. He has no sense of boundaries and what's appropriate, basically. So, back to where we left off. I'm getting the text that, he's no longer with us. So, I'm crying. One of my coworker girlfriends comes rushing in my office, trying to console me. Tears, snot, it was disgusting. But here I am crying that even though we weren't together, oh my gosh, he's not here anymore. Like, he can't even, like, his son, like, that's all the stuff that I'm thinking about, right? So she's like, so she's like, don't blame yourself. And I'm like, I don't know what happened. So here I am texting Betsy, back and forth, like, what happened? When did it happen? And she's giving me these details, like, he was seen on Sunday at church, and then he went to drop his son off, and his son said he was crying and said Daddy couldn't hold on anymore. Crying. Okay. And then nobody heard from him. And I'm like, well, where are the services? She's like, I'm so sorry, we already have the services. Was there obituary? No, there was no obituary. And I'm like, that's kind of odd, but I know that his family dynamics were a little contentious sometimes. So, meanwhile, my girlfriend here is Googling, Facebooking, Instagramming, looking at things. She's like, do you care how I get information if I'm able to get it? At that point, I'm like, no, I don't care. As long as it's not anything crazy. Like, I don't want anyone to be alarmed or, anything like that. She's like, okay. So she finds a niece, sends her a message, just a generic, hey, my name is Barbara, and I'm a friend of Bob's. I just want to make sure he's okay, that kind of thing. She also found the ex-wife, sent basically the same message. Okay. Meanwhile, two of my other coworkers are in the kitchen, all the way on the other side of the building, also doing their FBI work. I mean, I have the best girls. I really do. They jumped around. They're Googling and Facebooking and searching. We got one of another coworker. His brother is a cop. He's like, do things like this happen this fast? If somebody commits suicide? Oh yeah, I forgot to say that. I asked her, did he do this himself? She said yes. So that just made my fears, my sadness grow like exponentially. So I'm like, oh my gosh, he did this. Oh my gosh, I could have been there for him. He couldn't reach out to me. I ignored his last text. I'm a horrible person. I could have helped him, all that, right? So, they're doing their work in the kitchen. Girlfriend's doing the work in here with me. Still trying to hold me. I was all on her shoulder with everything flowing. I mean, she needs an award. So we continue. She's, writing and try to look for people. She's like, look, I found his brother. He just changed his profile picture a few days ago. It's nothing sad. Like his posts are public. Nothing's there. And I'm just like, I don't know, but they had everybody had a weird relationship in that family from what he said. So I keep asking her questions, and she's like, oh, thank you for loving on my brother. My dad loves you. He said, thank you for loving on his son. And we wish we would have got to meet you. And he's having necklaces made for all the women in the family. Do you want one? I'm like, yes, I want one. And she said, I've read your messages, and they just made me cry. I know that you guys loved each other, and it's just so sad. And he was so sick and didn't want to ask for help. And it's such a burden. This is 2.5 hours of texting. 2.5 hours of texting, of me crying, can't breathe, can barely see. And it was like, oh, well, you're still family, even though we did get to meet you. If you want to come up for dinner or anything, or just sit and talk with us, you're more than welcome. Better late than never. You're family, right? And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, things sound crazy, but who would do this? This has to be true, right? This has to be true. Like, who's going to for 2.5 hours and talk and do stuff like this, right? So as my girlfriends are all doing their investigations, my girlfriends that are in the kitchen, they find the ex-wife's phone number. We run down the hallway, right? Everybody's looking, what's going on? We'll tell you later, okay? So they find the ex-wife's phone number, and we call. So my girlfriend that was in the office does the talking. She's like, hi, my name is Barbara. I'm a friend of Bob's. I'm so sorry to bother you, but I got a text message that was really weird, and I just want to make sure that he's okay. And the ex-wife is like, how'd you get my information? Which I don't blame her. I would have said the same thing. Like, who are you, and why are you calling my phone about my ex-husband? So I understand that part. But she's like, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't know where to turn. Like, I looked for you online, but I got a message that he hurt himself. Like, that he killed himself. And the ex-wife said, what? He just texted me a few minutes ago. Come again? So my girlfriend says, oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you. And hung up. When I tell you, every tear that I had on my face, every bit of snot that was in my nose, dried up like the freaking Sahara. And I could feel the heat come from my toes all the way up to my head like a thermostat that was about to blow. Okay.
That's a whole other level of niggas ain't.
Okay, so we're all sitting there with our mouths hanging open at this point. So my other girlfriend, she's like, where does he work? I'm like, no, he told me that he quit. He doesn't work there anymore. He started his own business. She said, Denise, where does he work? I told her the place. We Googled it, and she called. She said, hi, my name is Jennifer. She used a fake name. I'm looking for Bob Johnson. Can I speak to him? The lady who answered said, may I ask what this is about? She said, it's something personal. So the lady answered says, oh, I will call him to the phone, but he's working in the shop right now. My girlfriend turned around and said, oh, he's working today? Yes, he is. Working, and texted me, pretending to be his sister, telling me that he's dead. I was speechless. I'm still speechless. Like, just talking about it, I could feel my blood pressure. I'm going to have to go take a pill or something. I could feel it. Okay. So I have not spoken to him. I'm sure his ex-wife told him. I'm sure the person at his job told him. Somebody called for him right after. So he knows that I know. I don't even want to engage. I feel like I would be so angry, even though I'm over the relationship. That shit that he did was ridiculous. Like, so horrible for a person to play about death, about suicide. He had shared with me that his best friend committed suicide. I have people that I know that are close to me that committed suicide. That's not something you joke about. And he knew that I would blame myself. He knew that I'd blame myself. Sick. So no, I haven't spoken to him. I did an information report with the police because I'm like, what was your end game? What was the point of that? Are you gonna show up at my house? Or you were saying I can go to your dad's house? You're gonna invite me up there for what? To do what? Yeah. But so yeah, no, I haven't spoken to him. But guess who's in my views on TikTok? He's probably watching this. Hi, Bob.
What to do, everyday people, man? It's your boy PJ. Today we back with another lit video. Back in the confessional. Yes, we staying lit, big dog. Shout out to my everyday people who rock with me every day. Hey, man. Look, man. Ooh, wee. I ain't never, matter of fact, let me tell you this. Y'all gonna think I'm psychic or something. But today on my Instagram, I said, Negroes be suicidal over a woman they cheated on. He was ready to cancel Christmas, but he didn't do nothing. He just lied. That's crazy. Anyway, he was a narcissist. Actually, he just wanted somebody to come and watch his kid. He really wanted a mom to watch his kid. He didn't want anything else. And he wanted somebody to blame every now and then for anything that went wrong. He needed somebody to blame other than himself. You know, it's okay. But let me tell you, she if she would have been dumb enough to do it, but the thing was, she was like, well, let me just see. Hey, you know what be killing me is these women. They be like, I know, I shouldn't be coming over here. I know I shouldn't be sleeping with this man. I know I shouldn't, but let me just see. Curiosity killed the cat looking ass. Oh my gosh, the women are they they don't be dumb. They just be inconsiderate of their own feelings. It's not dumb. They just don't care about themselves. Women who think like this don't y'all can't care about yourself. Yeah, be like, damn, I just wanna live. I just wanna love somebody. I don't give a damn if he gonna if he gonna take me out, take me out. I just wanna love that. No. Quit loving these weirdos, man. Jesus Christ. Like, you don't gotta love nobody that much at all. Real, because the man that's gonna love you is gonna make you feel good, not make you feel guilty. Okay? Y'all need to find somebody who's gonna make you feel good, not guilty. Okay? Find you a man that's gonna find you a man that's gonna clean out the bathtub before you get in it, okay? If you get a man that's gonna clean out the bathtub before you get in it, that might be your nigga. So y'all be looking for the wrong niggas. You think that's something inconsiderate, but you gotta think about it. You gotta sit back in your mind and think about it for a second. Damn. Your ass be sitting in that tub. Oh, he done ran me some bath water, and you sit in that tub, and then you look in there and you see how dirty it is. You be like, this nigga didn't even clean the bathtub. He didn't even think about cleaning the bathtub for me. See, that's what I be talking about. but you won't know until you do it. Okay, man, I be telling y'all. I'm gonna quit giving out all the man secrets because sometimes y'all be hating when I be y'all hate when I be telling y'all the real, but y'all don't think like a man. Like, oh, I hate when a man tell us about how women should be. Okay, well, don't listen. Guess what? This woman right here didn't fucking listen. She didn't listen. If she would have listened to Everyday PJ, goddamn it, she would have been like, he told me about these goofy ass niggas all the time. But hey, y'all don't gotta listen. You know, I be trying to tell y'all, but that nigga was like, hey, when she he came to she came to him and he started arguing with her. It's all your fault. And she was like, well, damn, okay, it's my fault. Well, just let me make it better. He was like, all right, okay, cool, just make it better. And everything was all right. And y'all didn't see nothing wrong with that. Y'all saw nothing wrong with that. But oh, I did. And then but y'all wait till after he done did all this stuff to you and then be like, oh no, you a narcissist, you this. No. Check him when he's doing that. If you can't check a man when he's doing that, then that maybe you need to shoot him. You know, maybe you need to burn his car up. Sometimes you gotta do some toxic shit to make a nigga realize that you're not the one to play with. You know what I mean? Because when narcissists play with y'all gotta play narcissist games. Because they play with y'all's mental. If they play with y'all's mental, then play with the things that they care about the most. Narcissists have a thing, okay? They like baseball cards. They like their vehicle. I mean, I ain't saying take an elbow to the face, but if you do, it'll be well worth it because he gonna stop playing with you. And then y'all gonna learn, oh, he gonna put his hands on me. So stop messing with that dude. Y'all gotta figure it out. Like, stop messing with narcissists. Anybody who will any man that will fake his death to get back at you is crazy. That's top tier. That's top tier narcissist. And I don't even think that's a narcissist. That's crazy. You know that it's a movie out there where a woman she strap a man to the bed and she break his ankles because she don't want him to run away from her. That's that level of crazy. I don't remember that movie, but whatever that movie was, it scarred me for life. I said I never wanted. I said I never want a woman like that. I ended up with two. Two.
Everyday people. Day and night. For some women, it can start working in its